Guys, what's good? It's your boy Phil. Today we are talking about the latest One Punch Man chapter 164, and particularly one thing that I think everybody wants to talk about. Everyone is speculating, theorizing about the Boros variant is I guess what I'm going to call it for now. We don't really know what it is. We don't know if it's Boros from another dimension. We don't know if it's like his sister or some shit. We don't know what it is, if it's just another member of his alien race or some shit. But that was a big thing that was tossed in last chapter, as well as, I guess, some of the members of the Blast team that we were teased a while ago in a few other chapters. But now we got some actual looks at Team Blast, is what I'm going to call it for now. We got a lion-type dude, a giant beast-type guy, and we have this elf, little strategist type person, and then we have what looks to be Boros, or some type of, entity like Boros. So, that's fun. We're going to talk about that for sure. Not really much other than that to talk about in the chapter. I mean, there is some good shit. They almost fucking shattered the multiverse. My fucking boy Garou was going ham on Saitama. Almost screwed up the Earth. Had this shit bulging. But then Saitama had to, I feel like he sensed something, when he was getting, drawn down to the core. I felt like he sensed that something was about to go down. So that he fired off those normal punches, and they ended up back on the surface. So things were saved for now. But presumably, it's looking like Blast is still taking a portal, and he's going out that way. That's what it's looking like. So that'll be interesting if Blast, re-enters the picture, especially with his team. How would Saitama react to seeing a Boros variant, come back and be teamed up with Blast? He'd be a little confused, right? So, a lot of things to think about in this chapter, that's for sure. And they were on like some mission, there was a temple or something, there was weird shit going on for sure. Like I said last video, I think that the spectrum is starting to change, and we're coming near the end of the Monster Association arc, I think. I think we're about to enter something new, something bigger than that. So, that's exciting, but I do want to talk about Boros because that's the topic. But without further ado, let's do this shit. Alright, so let me give you guys some food for thought really quick, because a lot of you guys were dropping really nice comments last video about how you think this Boros is related to the other Boros. What is this guy? Who is it? All that good stuff. So I was seeing a lot that maybe it's a female Boros, maybe it's just an alien that's, from his race, maybe it's a Boros variant, some shit. If you look closely, you see the eye markings are different and shit like that. It's presumably, base form, right? So, you can't, look at the giant cracks and shit when he, changes forms and all that stuff. But, he's got different designs in his eyes and shit like that. So, it's presumably some type of alien that's completely different than Boros. If it is Boros from another dimension, that's pretty cool. I'd be down with that. But, presumably, it's an entirely different alien, and it's just someone, from that race. So, that's exciting. We have this Blast intergalactic multi-dimensional team going on. It wouldn't surprise me if Blast has been going around different multiverses and different dimensions and shit, just hand-picking different people from those dimensions to join his team. So, presumably this Boros might not even be from the dimension that they're chilling in, right? He might be from a completely different dimension or some shit like that. So maybe Blast has been going around picking and choosing who he wants on his team. And maybe he's gonna pick someone from our universe, right? Maybe he's gonna pick up like Garou or Saitama or someone like that, So, when Blast first came into the scene and all that shit, looking for the cubes and whatnot, he confronted Saitama. So that's interesting, and it brings up the idea that maybe is Blast even from this dimension? Is he from this universe? Some shit like that. So that's all food for thought for you guys to think about. I don't personally have the answers. I'm just spitting the shit. But if I had to, make a prediction on what's up with this Boros, I think it's an entirely different alien that might have been from our universe, right? If the alien is, contingent just to our universe and there aren't other aliens out in all the other dimensions and shit, maybe this is the character that he hand-plucked from this dimension. Or it's a Boros variant from another dimension. That shit. That type of shit. But it's interesting. It's when you tamper with, you know, multiversal shit and other dimensions and shit could get cool. It could get really interesting. You know, you start to think about, all right, what are some, you know, what is king in the other universe look like? What does he do? Some shit like that. That's always cool to speculate about. But I had this other idea that the 3 characters that we were introduced, you know, this chapter, were actually like, you know, different forms of villains, right? I saw someone say that the elf might be like a different variant of Mosquito Girl or some shit like that, which really got me thinking. Maybe Blast is working with another dimension where the villains are actually the heroes, some shit like that. That's really interesting to me. That's a cool idea. I don't think that's gonna happen, but that's a cool idea. So yeah, I do like the idea that maybe he's going around picking and choosing, you know, people to join his team and whatnot, so they could, you know, protect the fucking Doctor Strange multiverse and shit like that. But the Boros thing, didn't expect that. I'll be real with you. I didn't expect him to, you know, enter the scene, whatnot. Definitely wasn't expecting it. Will he be, you know, an important character moving forward? Possibly. I would love to see not only how Saitama reacts to, you know, getting to see this Boros variant when they do show up, because they did, you know, teleport. But I'd also like to see what some of the other S-Class heroes say about him when he shows up. I think it'd be a really interesting interaction. And obviously there's going to be an explanation coming up at some point, so that's going to be pretty cool when that happens. Besides that, we did get the Pig God scene in the last chapter, which I was looking forward to. I mean, it wasn't really much, you know. We still haven't seen how all the other people that were thrown into the tsunami, how they've, you know, reacted, how they've survived and shit like that, where they're at, what's gonna happen with them. We haven't really got that yet. I'm assuming it's gonna happen soon. But right now we're still on the high that is Garou versus Saitama. They sat down at a table. They're gonna have a nice conversation. I don't know about what, maybe about like power and shit and training and all that shit. Saitama's still trying to convert him to heroism, so that's pretty cool. We'll see if that goes down. I feel like Garou is gonna have a moment coming up pretty soon for sure. He's gonna have something to fight that's gonna be very strong, because he's leveled up exponentially. He's at maybe his peak. I don't know if he levels up further than this. He probably does. He had multiple arms going. He had wings and shit. He was looking like a beast. He was almost fucked up Earth and all that shit, so he had it bulging. I don't know what that means, but it's probably important. That type of shit. I think he's got a matchup coming for sure. We don't really have like a next clear-cut villain of what's gonna happen. I don't know if like Saitama and Garou are gonna fight these dudes when they show up. I don't think that's gonna happen. Blast and Team Blast is what I'm talking about. I don't think they're gonna fight. Because that would, I don't really know why they would fight. I feel like Blast is, you know, a good guy, unless he's a bad guy. That would fucking suck. But he's collecting these cubes and he's trying to do some shit with God or gods, right? If there's more than one god. I definitely think that God is on the list of shit that has to go down. I mean, you see the moon in every panel right now, and you know there's a reason for that, you know. So it's interesting. It's interesting for sure. I'm really curious what their conversation's gonna be about. If it's gonna be like some deep lore shit. I don't think it is, cause I've been waiting for some deep lore shit in One Punch Man for a while, and every time I think there's gonna be some like that, it never happens. We just get trolled. So I won't get my hopes up too high for what's gonna happen in the next chapter, but it's exciting. It's very exciting. I was a big fan of last chapter. I thought it was really good. It had all the action. It had like giant feats and shit, but it also had that little spice of the Team Blast that got teased in there too. So that was something I definitely appreciated. But overall, that's kind of it. It's kind of all I wanted to talk about for this chapter. Boros, probably a variant. I'm going to be very interested in what happens when they show up in this dimension. Is he from this dimension? Is he from another dimension? What is Blast's motive with, you know, the teams and shit? His team that he's running and everything like that. You know, about the elf, the beast. I want to see what's up with them. Are they variants of other characters that we've seen before? That type of shit. That's the type of stuff that I'm interested in. So I'm very excited to see what goes down. But that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Guys, Let me know down below. What are you thinking with Boros? You think he's a variant? You think it's actually Boros from another dimension? You think it's like his sister or some shit? What's your thoughts? I'm excited. Some shit is about to happen in One Punch Man. That's for damn sure. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.